Evan lived on the edge of the galaxy, far away from the bright city lights and busy spaceports. His home was a small mining outpost on a dusty moon called Solara 3. People didn't visit much. Most travelers who came here were either lost, desperate, or just passing through. Evan was used to being alone with his tools, machines, and the sound of wind blowing across the metal roofs. He worked as a mechanic. His hands were always dirty from fixing old engines and patching up ships. He liked his quiet life. He didn't have much money, but he had his own small room behind the main workshop, some good friends who worked in the mines, and a warm mug of coffee every morning. Every so often, someone landed in need of repairs, and Evan was always willing to help. One evening, after the sun had set and the stars were bright above, Evan was closing up his shop. He heard the loud sound of an engine struggling. He looked up and saw a small, battered ship coming down hard onto the landing pad. The landing was rough, almost crashing, but the pilot managed to stop the ship just before it hit the wall. Dust filled the air, and the ship let out a strange whine as it shut down. Evan wiped his hands on his pants and walked over to the landing pad. The ship was an old model, scratched and burned in places, with patches that looked like they had been repaired more than once. As Evan watched, the door opened slowly and a woman stepped out. She was young, with brown hair tied back and tired eyes. Her clothes were simple, nothing fancy, just a worn jacket and pants with holes in the knees. She looked around nervously, then saw Evan and waved. Evan walked closer. "Are you all right?" he asked. The woman nodded but looked worried. "My name is Lily, my ship is broken, and I don't know what to do," she said quietly. Evan smiled kindly. "You're lucky. You landed here? I'm Evan. I can take a look at it for you." "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "I'm just tired. I haven't slept much. The ship has been making strange noises, and now it won't start." Evan looked at the ship and saw steam coming from under one of the panels. He had seen many ships in bad shape, but this one seemed especially worn out. "Come on," he said. "Let's get you inside and then I'll take a look at your ship." Lily followed Evan into the workshop. It was warm inside, with the smell of oil and metal. Evan poured her a cup of water and handed her a blanket. "Sit down and rest. I'll get my tools and see what's wrong." Lily sat down and wrapped the blanket around her shoulders. She looked small and tired, almost lost. Evan could see she was grateful, but she said very little. Evan didn't ask her any questions about where she was from or why she was traveling alone. People out here had their own reasons for being quiet. He went outside to the ship. He opened the engine panels and shined a light inside. He could see broken wires, leaking fluid, and parts that looked almost burned out. Evan sighed and began the work. He cleaned the fuel lines and replaced the worst wires with spares from his workshop. Sometimes he would talk to himself, thinking out loud about what to do next. The ship was old, but he knew he could get it working again. While he worked, Lily came to the door and watched. She didn't get in the way, but sometimes she handed Evan tools or asked him simple questions about what he was doing. She was careful and polite, always thanking him when he explained something. Evan noticed she listened closely to every word, as if she was trying to learn something new. As the night went on, Evan realized how tired Lily must have been. She leaned against the doorframe and rubbed her eyes. "You can sleep in the back room if you want," Evan offered. "There's a bed. I'll keep working on your ship." Lily smiled, a small smile that looked like she hadn't used it much. "Lately, thank you, Evan. You're very kind." Evan nodded and kept working. After a while, he heard her footsteps going into the back room, and then it was just him, the stars, and the broken ship. He worked for hours, losing track of time. He thought about the many people he had helped over the years, all with their own stories. He never asked for much. Sometimes people paid him, sometimes they left a gift, but he always did his best. Tonight, for some reason, he felt like helping Lily was important, even though she was a stranger. There was something about her that made him want to help. By the time he finished, it was almost morning. Evan wiped sweat from his brow and looked at the ship. It wasn't perfect, but it would fly again. He cleaned up his tools and went inside. Lily was still awake, sitting at the little table in. The back room. She looked up as Evan came in, her eyes a little brighter. "Did you fix it?" she asked. "I think so," Evan said. "You'll need to be careful, but you should be able to fly again. I'll show you what I fixed in the morning, if you want." Lily stood up and came over to him. "Thank you, Evan. You really saved me tonight." Evan just smiled and shrugged. "It's what I do. Everyone needs help sometimes. You get some sleep. We'll talk more in the morning." Lily nodded, looking a little more relaxed. As Evan went to his own room, he felt good inside. He didn't know where Lily had come from or where she was going, but he was glad she had landed here. Out here on the edge of space, a little kindness could make all the difference. Evan fell asleep wondering if he would ever learn her real story. For now, he was just happy to have helped someone in need. Evan woke up early the next morning. The outpost was quiet, with only the sound of wind moving dust across the empty streets. He stretched and looked out the small window above his bed. The sky was a soft blue, and the suns were rising, sending gentle light over the ground. Evan got up, washed his face, and put on his work clothes. He went to the kitchen and made a pot of coffee. The smell filled the little building, and soon Lily came out from the back room. She looked a little better after some sleep, but Evan could still see worry on her face. She smiled at Evan, and he smiled back. "Did you sleep well?" Evan asked. "Yes," Lily said softly. "Thank you for everything last night. I was so tired I could barely think." Evan poured 2 cups of coffee and handed one to her. "You're welcome. Let's go look at your ship after you finish your drink." They sat together at the table for a few minutes, sipping coffee in silence. Lily glanced around the room. There were tools on the shelves, parts on the table, and some pictures on the wall of ships Evan had fixed over the years. It was a simple place, but it felt warm and safe. After they finished, Evan grabbed his toolbox and they went outside. The air was cool and fresh. Evan walked to Lily's ship and opened the engine compartment. He explained everything he had done, how he cleaned the fuel lines, changed the wires, and tightened the loose bolts. Lily listened carefully, nodding as Evan spoke. "Your ship will fly again," Evan said, "but you should get new parts. When you can, this is just a temporary fix." Lily looked at Evan with real gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you, Evan. Most people wouldn't have done this much for a stranger." Evan shook his head. "Out here, we all have to help each other. You never know when you'll be the one needing a hand." Lily smiled. She looked around as if searching for something. "Is there a place to get food nearby?" "I haven't eaten." "In a while?" Evan nodded. "There's a little cafe down the road. I know the owner. Come on, I'll walk with you." They walked together toward the small cafe. The outpost was waking up, and a few miners and workers were heading to their jobs. People waved at Evan, and he waved back. They reached the cafe, and Evan held the door open for Lily. Inside, the place smelled like fresh bread and soup. The owner, a woman named Maggie, greeted them with a big smile. "Evan, who's your friend?" Maggie asked. "This is Lily." Evan said, "She had a rough night. Can you get her something warm to eat?" Maggie nodded and hurried to the kitchen. Evan and Lily sat at a table by the window. Lily looked out at the quiet street. She seemed lost in thought. "Where are you headed, Lily?" Evan asked gently. Lily hesitated before answering. "I'm not sure anymore. I used to have a plan, but now I just want to be safe for a while." Evan nodded, not pushing for more details. Maggie brought over hot soup and bread, and Lily ate quickly like she hadn't had a real meal in days. Evan watched her, feeling a mix of worry and curiosity. When Lily finished, she thanked Maggie, and Evan paid for both their meals. They walked back to the landing pad together. The sun was higher now, and the outpost felt busier. Ships came and went, and workers shouted to each other as they moved crates. Evan went back to his shop, and Lily followed. She stood by the door, watching as Evan worked on another ship. She started asking questions about his work, how the engines ran, what tools did what, and why certain ships needed different repairs. Evan was happy to explain. He liked teaching, and Lily seemed interested in everything. "Did you always want to be a mechanic?" Lily asked. Evan thought for a moment. "I guess so. I like fixing things. I like helping people get moving again." Out here, there aren't many people you can count on. So I try to be someone people can trust. Lily listened closely. She seemed impressed by Evan's simple honesty. For a while, she watched him work. In silence. A few hours later, the peace was broken by loud voices outside. A group of bounty hunters had landed at the outpost. They wore dark clothes and carried weapons. They went from building to building, showing people a picture on a data pad. Evan looked out the window and saw them talking to Maggie at the cafe. He could see the worry on her face. The bounty hunters were asking questions, looking for someone. Evan's heart beat faster as he realized they might be looking for Lily. Lily saw the fear on Evan's face. "What's happening?" she asked. Quietly, Evan explained about the bounty hunters. He didn't know for sure they were after Lily, but he had a bad feeling. Lily's hands shook as she clutched her jacket. "We have to be careful," Evan whispered. "Stay in the workshop. Don't let anyone see you." Lily nodded and hid behind a stack of crates. Evan stepped outside, trying to look calm. The bounty hunters came up to him and showed him the datapad. "Have you seen this woman?" the leader asked. The picture looked just like Lily, same brown hair, same tired eyes. Evan shook his head. "No, haven't seen her. Just a few miners and traders today." The leader stared at Evan for a long moment, then nodded and walked away. Evan went back inside and found Lily still hiding. "They're looking for you, aren't they?" Evan asked. Lily nodded, tears in her eyes. "Yes, please don't tell them." Evan took a deep breath. He had a choice. He could turn Lily in and maybe get a reward, or he could help her. He thought about how she had trusted him and how scared she looked now. He knew what he had to do. "It's all right, Lily," Evan said quietly. "You can trust me." "I won't. Let them find you." Lily wiped her tears and gave Evan a shaky smile. For the first time since she landed, she felt hope. She wasn't alone anymore. And maybe, just maybe, she could find a new beginning here with someone who cared more about kindness than money or fame. Evan knew the bounty hunters would come back. He had to find a way to keep Lily safe. He looked around the workshop, thinking hard. There was an old storage room at the back. It was dusty and full of broken parts, but it was hidden from view. Evan helped Lily move quietly to the storage room and closed the heavy door behind her. "Stay here," Evan said. "Don't open the door for anyone but me," Lily nodded. "Thank you, Evan. I don't know what I would do without you." Evie went outside and saw the bounty hunters still walking around, asking questions. They didn't find anything yet, but Evan could see their patience was running thin. They wanted to leave, but they needed proof that Lily was here. Evan went up to the leader and smiled. "Hey, you guys want me to fix something on your ship? I can do it fast." The leader looked at Evan suspiciously. "Why should we trust you?" Evian shrugged. "Because I'm the best mechanic on this moon, and I want you to leave quickly. I don't want trouble here." The leader thought for a moment. "Fine, fix the engine, but don't try anything funny." Evan followed the hunters to their ship. It was bigger and newer than most on the outpost. The engine made strange noises, and Evan saw immediately it needed repairs. He opened the panels and started working quickly. While he worked, he kept an eye on the hunters. One of the hunters asked, "You know that woman we are looking for?" Evan nodded slowly. "I know who you mean, but I haven't seen her here." The hunters looked at each other, then turned away. Evan finished fixing the engine and told the leader. "You're good to go." The leader nodded. "Thanks, mechanic. We will leave soon." Evan watched them leave the landing pad and then hurried back to the workshop. He opened the storage room door and saw Lily waiting. "They're gone," Evan said. "For now." Lily smiled weakly. "You saved me." Evan shook his head. "No, we saved each other." They spent the afternoon talking. Lily told Evan a little about her life. She said she came from a rich family that controlled many businesses across the galaxy. But she didn't want to live that life. People only saw her as money, not as a person. Evan listened carefully. "That must be lonely." "It is," Lily said. "That's why I left." "I wanted to find something real," Evan smiled. "Sometimes the real things are found in small places like this outpost." Lily looked around the workshop and the dusty moon outside. "Maybe you're right." The next day, Lily's ship was ready to fly again. Evan helped her load supplies and showed her how to take care of the parts he fixed. Lily felt grateful, but also sad to leave Evan and the small outpost behind. Before she left, she gave Evan a small data chip. "This is a thank you gift. It has enough credits to help you improve this place." Evan looked at her, surprised. "I don't need money?" "Maybe not now," Lily said, "but this place needs help. You're kind and you deserve better." Evan nodded, touched by her words. "Thank you, Lily." She smiled and climbed into her ship. As the engine started, Lily looked down at Evan and waved. Evan waved back, feeling a new hope for the future. He had helped a stranger, and in return his world had changed. After Lily's ship left the outpost, Evan felt a strange emptiness. The workshop seemed quieter, and the dusty streets looked lonelier. He went back to his tools and machines, but his mind was elsewhere. He kept thinking about Lily and the stories. She shared days passed, but Lily did not return. Evan often looked to the sky, hoping to see her ship among the stars. One morning, as he was fixing a mining rover, a small transport ship landed at the outpost. The door opened, and a young woman stepped out. She was carrying a package and smiled warmly. "Hello, Evan," she said. Evan was surprised. "Lily!" "You're back," Lily nodded. "I wanted to keep my promise. Here's something for you in the outpost." She handed him the package. Inside were supplies, new tools, spare parts, and a few boxes of food and medicine. Evan was amazed. "Where did all this come from?" he asked. Lily smiled. "Let's just say I have friends in high places now. They want to help." Evan looked around at the outpost. The old buildings, the worn paths, the tired people. He thought about how much better things could be with help like this. "We can make this place better," he said. "For everyone here," Lily agreed. "I want to help you, Evan. You showed me kindness when I needed it most. Now it's my turn." Together they worked to improve the outpost. Lily sent more supplies and money quietly, so no one knew where it was coming from. Evan bought new tools and fixed broken machines. The miners had better equipment and the workers had more food. People began to notice changes. The outpost felt brighter and stronger. The miners smiled more, and travelers stopped by to see the improvements. Evan felt proud, but always remembered that it was Lily's kindness that made it possible. One evening, as the sun set, Lily visited Evan again. They sat outside the workshop, watching the sky turn colors. Lily looked peaceful. "I'm glad I met you, Evan," she said. "You showed me what really matters." Evan smiled. "And you showed me that even the richest woman can want simple things like a friend." Lily laughed softly. "Maybe that's the richest thing of all." They sat together in silence, knowing their friendship had changed both their lives. The galaxy was still vast and full of dangers, but here, on this small dusty moon, two strangers had found something real and true. Months passed, and the outpost on Solara 3 was changing. The dusty roads were cleaner, new machines worked better, and the people were happier. Evan worked harder than ever. With the supplies Lily sent, he repaired old equipment and built new tools. But even with all the progress, Evan stayed the same simple man he always was. One morning, a message came from the Galactic Council. They wanted to know who was behind the sudden improvements at the outpost. The council sent officials to investigate. They were surprised to find a small community growing stronger in such a remote place. Evan met the officials at the landing pad. They asked him many questions about the changes, the money, and the people helping from afar. Evan told them the truth. A kind woman named Lily had sent help quietly. He didn't say much about her past or her wealth, only that she cared. The officials listened and then smiled. It is rare to find such kindness and honesty. You both have done well. News about the outpost spread across the galaxy. More people began to visit, some to trade, others to work. The outpost was no longer forgotten. It was becoming a place of hope. One afternoon, Evan was working in his shop when a group of visitors arrived. Among them was a tall man in a dark uniform. He walked directly to Evan and said, "I am Commander Lane of the Galactic Fleet. I have orders to meet with Lily." "Morgan." Evan's heart raced. I know Lily. She's a friend. Commander Lane nodded. She told us about you in this outpost. She wants to see you in person. Later that day, Evan went to the landing pad. A sleek ship landed and Lily stepped out. She looked different now, more confident and calm. Her clothes were simple but clean, and her eyes shone with a quiet strength. They smiled and hugged. I miss this place, Lily said. Evan smiled back. It's good to have you home. Lily explained that she had used her power to help more than just the outpost. She worked with the council and the fleet to bring aid to forgotten places. But she never forgot the simple moon where she found kindness. Your help changed my life, Evan, Lily said. You showed me that money can't buy happiness. Real strength comes from the heart. Evan looked at Lily and said, You taught me that even the richest woman can want a simple life and true friends. They laughed together. For both, the galaxy was wide and full of challenges, but they had found something rare: trust, friendship, and hope. That night, under the stars, Evan and Lily talked about the future. They planned new ways to help others and build a better galaxy. Together, they knew they could face anything. After Lily's return, the outpost on Solara 3 continued to grow. The small community became a beacon of hope in the far reaches of space. Evan and Lily worked side by side, helping miners, traders, and travelers who came their way. The outpost was no longer a forgotten place, but a home filled with laughter and light. One day, as Evan fixed a ship's engine, Lily approached with a gentle smile. Evan, there is something I want to ask you. Evan wiped his hands on his pants and looked up. What is it? Lily took a deep breath. You helped me when I was lost and scared. You showed me kindness when I needed it most. I want to stay here with you, not as the richest woman in the galaxy, but as a friend and maybe more. Evan's heart beat fast. He looked at Lily, seeing the truth in her eyes. I want that too, he said simply. They began to spend more time together, sharing stories, dreams, and quiet moments under the stars. Their friendship grew into something deeper. It was not about wealth or power, but about two souls finding comfort in each other. The people of the outpost noticed the change. They saw the joy in Evan's eyes and the peace in Lily's smile. The community welcomed their friendship, knowing that kindness and love were the greatest gifts. One evening, the Galactic Council sent a small ceremony to honor the work done at Solara 3. Lily and Evan were invited to speak. Standing before the crowd, Lily said, True wealth is not money or power. It is the kindness we share and the bonds we build. Evan added, We all have the power to help one another. Sometimes the smallest acts can change a life. The crowd cheered, and for a moment the galaxy felt closer, kinder, and more hopeful. Years later, Lily and Evan sat together, watching the sun set behind the mountains. Their lives were simple but full. They knew the galaxy was still wide and wild. But they faced it together. Lily smiled and said, I never imagined I would find a home on a dusty moon or a friend like you. Evan took her hand and replied, And I never thought helping a stranger would change my whole world. Together they looked at the stars, knowing that no matter what came next, their kindness and friendship would shine brightest of all.